I have a couple of little things to share. A couple of not really happy mail, more like RAKs from people, and some projects and things I've been working on. So, let me start with this one. I got some photos from Juliana Beasley, who is she's a professional photographer who lives in New York, and she has just started kind of getting into the whole, you know, mixed media art journaling thing. And so we've been kind of talking about that, and she offered to send me some of her photographs, which, of course, I was extremely excited about. And here's what she sent. These are amazing. Her pictures are really incredible. And these are, if I remember right, she sent a note. If I remember what she wrote correctly, these two are from her project that she did in the Rockaways. And she spent about, I don't know, 10 years or something photographing the people in that area. And they have, from what I understand, a large population of mentally ill adults. A lot of adult group homes in that area. So they have a high population of mentally ill, and a lot of her subjects were some of those people who she spent a lot of time with and got to know. And her pictures, I'll try to remember to post links to some of her stuff, but her pictures are, I don't know anything about photography, but when I look at her pictures, they're hard to look at, some of them, because of the subject matter. They're kind of hard to look at, but you really can't look away. You know, it's one of those type things. It's like, oh, that's not really a pleasant thing to look at, but it is so real that I can't not look at it. That type of thing. But a lot of them are like that, and they really are just incredible. And this is another one. Look at that baby. He's fixing to eat a pickle. She just captured that expression and that anticipation just perfectly. So cute. Those two, I think, are from the Rockaways. This one, I believe she said, was of some teenagers that she took when she did an artist residency in France at one time. And I think that this was from there, which is just really, really cool. Her pictures are just very real and raw, and I really love them. She has her pictures from the Rockaways. She's put together a book for them. She has another book that's been published, and I think this one is on its way to being published, which I'm kind of excited about, because then, you know, I have these pictures and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that girl. We're like friends and stuff. Look, she sent me these. So I get to be all famous by proxy. I know Juliana's rolling her eyes at me right now, but still, you know, it's exciting for me. So thank you so much, Juliana, for sending these pictures. They are truly a treasure. And I'm going to find some kind of a frame or something. I'd really like something kind of interesting or cool to put them in. I just haven't figured out what yet. But I'm going to kind of come up with some kind of cool way to display those, because I love them. I also got, just recently, this ATC. This is from Teresa Sliger. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Teresa. Forgive me if I'm not. But look. And I'm assuming this is, yes, this is one of the ATCs she made for a swap in Claudia Rossi's Crazy Island Family Facebook group. They're doing an ATC swap over there. And so she made some extras and sent me one. Okay, girl's got skills. She's got this watercolor paper, and look, the little bird-shaped paper clip, and this little bird, and look how she watercolored everything. And then some washi tape. Oh my gosh. This is just so well done, so beautifully done. I absolutely love it. It's just like a little mini work of art. It's like a something that should be framed. This is beautiful, Teresa. Thank you so very, very much for thinking of me. I do appreciate it. Okay, those are my RAKs to share. What next? Well, we had some friends visit recently, and while they were here, I made guacamole. And anytime I make guacamole, I have to boil the avocado skins to make the dye because I really, really love avocado dye. And I didn't have anything I needed to dye, so I stuck some coffee filters in it. Yeah, basically. I just put the dye in a bowl and laid these in there. And I think I left them overnight because that's why some of them, see, they have the darker ring because they were sitting in the more concentrated part of the dye, and the edge is where the dye just soaked in. So it looks kind of cool. These will make pretty flowers. And this is the color you get when you boil avocado skins in some water. It always takes longer than I think because, you know, I let it simmer for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then I stuck, what did I stick in there? A piece of yarn, white cotton yarn, and pulled it out. It was green, and I thought, well, this is never going to make pink. It did eventually. I was just impatient. And when I make it, I usually put it in a jar in the refrigerator and close it tight, and it'll keep for several weeks in there. And then if I need to dye something pink, I just pull it out and soak it. And that's what you get. So I did that. I did this doily. The green around the edge of this doily throws me. I'm not crazy about the green, but this part was white. So I thought, well, I wonder if I dye it pink, will that make me love the green? It did not. I still don't love the green. I think actually what I might do is take the green off because I think it might still need some kind of, I don't know, it might have its own little, yeah, I would need to do some kind of edging on it without the green, but I can do that. Anyway, that's just me thinking out loud. But I dyed this with the avocado dye to see if, you know, it would help me like the green, and it didn't, but I do like the pink of the doily. And this is a big doily. I like this. This is a big, you know, full-size doily. So I did that, and then I did some pieces of wedding dress. I just soaked these in the dye. I think I left them overnight. And like most dyes, the longer you leave it, you know, the more intense the color. But these were white to begin with. And of course it doesn't dye the little pearls or the sequins, it only dyes the threads. So there's those. I thought those turned out really pretty. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'll figure something out. I just like them. So there they are. So that is what you get when you boil avocado skins. You do not get green dye, you get pink. Don't ask me why. And if you know why, don't tell me, because I really like to think that it's magic. I've convinced myself it's magic. And I want to think that because I like that part. Now I sometimes doodle when I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, you know, watching my stupid gypsy wedding shows. And Taylor, my daughter, was cleaning out some of her school stuff from last semester, and she gave me this notebook where she took some notes, and I don't even know if you can see her handwriting. She has the coolest little meticulous handwriting. I just absolutely love it. And oh look, she's even got some of her Japanese back here. But I always tease her and I tell her that she writes like a little Asian man. I don't know if there's a certain way that little Asian men write, but in my mind, this is how they write. Just like my daughter. So anyway, I sometimes just sit that notebook in my lap and will doodle right over the pages, which I love because it's basically, it's trash. You know, she took notes for these classes. They're over. She doesn't need the notes anymore. She was going to pitch it in the recycle bin. It's just scrap paper. So, you know, most of it I just write over what she's written because she writes so light. And she writes in pencil almost all the time. So it's really easy to just write over it in a pen and you don't even see what she wrote. So I'll do that. I'll sketch out designs and things. And sometimes I will just make a little piece of something. Let me find one. And here is a little piece of something. This is a doodle that I did on one of her pages. And this was just right out of her notebook, you know, something like this. It had her handwriting on it, and I just drew out the design over it. And then this is all just markers, mostly Pitt pens, and then I think maybe some Sharpies or something. And then the gray was one of those, what do you call it? Souffle pens, souffle gel pens. And then the silver is from some of the silver gel pens that Victor gave me. Oh, I didn't outline that one in silver. Look, I missed one. Okay. Yeah, it happens. But anyway, I think it's cool. I love the way it turned out. So see, there's me a background just off of a piece of a notebook paper that was going to go in the trash. And I also like to doodle on phone book pages. And here's one. I think was this the yellow pages? No, it was business, so it was white. But anyway, I was playing with some of my stencils. I had my stencils out, and I didn't have paint, so I just had my markers and pens. So I just traced my stencils, you know, instead of paint or whatever. I just traced them. So I traced some, colored them in with markers, and put another one over the top. So I like that one. And then these were just some different stencils that I traced and colored with markers and cut out on phone book paper, because those just make fun little collage elements, you know? So there you go. You can set a phone book in your lap and a bucket of markers, pull out some stencils, and go to town. Doesn't make a mess on the couch. So there you have it. Okay, my last share is my planner. I've been doing the documented life, and I had to look back on my other videos. I think the last video I did ended at week 7, so that means I've got week 8 forward to show you, which is quite a few weeks. But I'll just flip through, because I don't do mine in order like they do. I don't use the Moleskine, obviously, and I don't have a weekly planner. I have a monthly, but I have blank pages after every month, and that's where I do my work. But I move around. I don't do March's challenges in the March pages. I do them in whatever the heck page I want. And I have skipped a couple of the challenges. Either it just wasn't really speaking to me at the time, or a couple of them I just haven't got around to doing. So there's that. But anyway, and I've gone through this before. I'm not gonna explain all of the details of the planner itself. I'm just gonna show you what I have added since week 7, if I can remember. I did go through and doodled. I have some just painted background random papers, and then some doodles that I've used to collage over plain pages or stuff that I tried and didn't like, you know. So I've added several of those, and I keep extras right here. So see, that was with a stencil I was playing with, and I have several more. This one, I'll show you. This one's one of my favorites. I just love that. Doesn't it look like rocks? Colorful, really cool, pretty rocks. I really, really like that one. That was with some Prismacolor pencils. So anyway, I keep some of these in here, and then I have some smaller ones in here for, you know, just a little added collage element or to cover up something that didn't work out. This is where I list all of the challenges. And week 8 was to add a flap to your flap. And in the Moleskine books they have flaps on each weekly page to do their art on. I don't do that. I don't have a flap. I just have blank pages. So I just added a flap, and I used this envelope, I think was my flap. I have several flaps in here, so I felt like I had probably, let me find my other flap, because, yeah, see, I've got, I'm flapped out. So I felt like I had probably covered the flap challenge. I think this envelope was also my add an envelope challenge, so it did kind of double duty. So yeah, I did the flap. Let's just keep going. That was another little random doodle page that I just used to cover up something that I didn't need. And I think you've seen all of these. Another doodle, that was a stencil I traced. Ooh, sorry, gnat. That was a stencil. Actually, I printed that one. It was a jelly print that didn't work out. You know, it wasn't a clear print. I didn't like it, so I used markers to trace around it and then added all the little doodly embellishments. And I've shown that, I believe. That was just covering up a mistake. I had a really nice 2-page spread here from the rodeo, and I had an incident with some glue in that it wasn't completely dry before I smashed the pages together. I could not save it. All of my little ticket stubs and pictures and everything, just glued them right together. That's such a stupid rookie mistake, you know, but it still happens. So, yeah, I gessoed over that and put down this piece of paper. And over here, this was the challenge to add a cardboard food box. I think that was week 16. And this is from some snack pack pudding. That's what they come in, because I buy that sometimes. I don't have small children, but I still buy it. And seeing it has the little thing right here. So that was a magazine page I put behind it, and then just did this scribbly thing while I watched TV. So that was the cardboard food package challenge. This was to add a bird to a page of some sort. And I had done this page with these were scraps of scrapbook paper left over from some other project, and then some markers and I don't know what. And then I cut out this bird. I had a die cut for that and added that bird. And this is for, I went with my husband to OTC last week before, whenever it was. That's the offshore technology conference they have here in Houston every year. So I made a little page for that, and I'll probably doodle on that or something. That was another page that had some kind of heinous mistake on it that I can't remember. I can't remember what I did, but I failed. I failed in there's no way you can salvage this kind of way. So this was a piece of a collage-y paper that I made a while back, and I just stuck it on there. This one is the All About You. You know, we were supposed to write things that describe ourselves. So I just wrote all kinds of different things that I thought applied to me for my All About Me page. And then on the one next to it, this was some leftover scraps from whatever it was that these scraps came from. I can't remember the original project, but they were all in the same scrap heap. So I just stuck them on there. And then another challenge came up, and it was to, I have this written down over here so I can remember, to use something recycled, collage something recycled. So I pulled I just gone to the pharmacy and I pulled the prescription labels off of the sheets that come with my prescriptions and stuck them on here. I saw someone had done this. Juliana Beasley had done this on a spread that she did, and she put her prescription labels on there. And I thought, oh dang, that is so brilliant. I need to do that. I'm missing a couple of labels, and I had 2 more I had to pick up later, so I'll have to stick those in. But yeah, that's my use collage something recycled. This one was for the cut up a magazine and use it. That was week 12. So I cut all these images out of, I don't remember which magazine it was, obviously some kind of fashion magazine, and doodled and colored and, you know, did that whole deal. And this is just, I had this piece of paper, and this is the poem. It's called The Concord Hymn by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I wrote it down here because I memorized this poem in the 4th grade. We had to memorize poems on a regular basis in my English class in the 4th grade, I remember, because I hated it, absolutely hated it. And I memorized this one. If I remember right, it was the last one of the year, and I struggled to find something because, you know, it had to be a minimum of 16 lines and all of this. And why I chose this one in the 4th grade, I will never know. I have a feeling that one of my parents or someone chose it for me. And I memorized it, and I can still recite it to this day, word for word, by memory, which is weird. So I wanted to write it down before I forget it. And then I put a note down here that I memorized it in the 4th grade, and I can still recite it. And it's crazy because in high school I had to memorize stuff for different things. We had to memorize a couple of the speeches from Romeo and Juliet, several different Shakespeare speeches we memorized. Can't remember any of them. This silly poem from the 4th grade, I remember verbatim. It's really strange. So I wrote that down there, just 'cause. It's one of those just 'cause pages. This one was for week, let me find it, week 14. Write your name and embellish it. So I doodled my name, embellished, mostly Pitt pens, I'm sure. Some gel pens too, I can see. And these two, this one was for week 18 to write down an inspiring quote. And this is one of my favorite quotes. I love quotes from artists about art. And this is one of my favorite from Andy Warhol. It says, "Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art." I like that. That's really kind of that whole, you know, silencing your inner critic thing, but said in a way much cooler, easier to understand manner. A way less pretentious manner. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes from an artist on art. And this one was for week 15 to do something monochromatic. I chose blue. I just doodled a kind of abstract background and colored it in with different kinds of markers. And these flowers on top were sent to me by my friend Victor, who lives in Ukraine. He made and sent all of these flowers, which just went perfectly with my blue theme. So that's where I use those. And do I have anything else? Nope, see, I was just playing with some, I don't remember what those were. I think they were water-soluble oil pastels. No, I may have some, I've got some extra pages glued in, but that's it. So, that is actually for weeks 8 through 18, but I did not do week 13, which is ask someone to draw on a page and then you finish it. I haven't done that yet, but I will. And then week 17 is to add your favorite shoes. Draw them or take a picture. And I had a little mishap with my favorite shoes recently, and I'm trying to fix it. And I'm trying to fix it in a fun way, so I'm kind of waiting until I get them finished before I add that. I'll probably take a picture. So anyway, that is where I am with the documented life. I'm still a couple weeks behind, but that's okay. I'm really enjoying it because it's, I love the challenges. I think I've said before, they're just really concrete, specific challenges. I really, really dislike challenges that say something like, create a page describing what peace means to you. Okay, what is that? I cannot do that. That is not a prompt. What is that? I want a challenge that says, use a cardboard food box, by gosh. That is a challenge that I can just sink my teeth into. Don't give me that. Describe how you feel when you're out in nature. Oh, heck, I don't know. I'm hot most of the time. So, anyway. Okay. That's all. The end.